Okay, hello, and welcome to the third episode of the Under the Skin series, in which Kate Adey, the leadership and transformation coach, and I, Karolina Gładych, also a coach, although I don't have a particular label what type of coach, but I would say maybe innate well-being coach and transformation coach would describe well what I do. We explore different aspects of being a parent, and we also have guests, and today we have the wonderful Tammy with us, who's joining us from Switzerland. Hi, Tammy.
Hi.
Hi, and Tammy is also a coach, a blogger, and a writer. And yeah, I've met Tammy a few years ago when I joined her kind of group for moms. It was called, I think, Wednesday coffee cup meetings, something like this.
Yeah. Coffee cup conversations, I think. Yeah.
Yes, it was lovely, I remember. Yes, so that's how we met.
Coffee
And yeah, and I would like to invite you, Tammy, maybe to tell us a few words about yourself, about you as a parent, and about your professional life, what you do, just whatever you would like to share about yourself.
Okay. So I obviously work with the three principles. I have other influences on my work as well. And I trained as a coach, and I started coaching small businesses at first. And that was okay, but it simply wasn't fulfilling me. And then I started looking at my own life and what my own personal experience was. And I found that the biggest area of transformation for me personally had been the impact of the three principles on how I parented and my experience as a parent and running a household and the way I viewed myself and the way I handled that, because making that transition from just me to me as a parent, the mom, me as the mom, the identity of being a mom in this kind of a crazy world we kind of set up for ourselves, just based full of a lot of thinking about what it is to be a mom, how one should be a mom, how one should parent. And I just saw the most impact of this teaching was upon my parenting. And I didn't realize that I had already started to coach about and within the field of parenting. I just didn't see it. So when I announced to everybody, I'm going to change it all, I've got to be a parenting coach, or a coach for parents is what I like to say. Everybody was like, yes. It's like, what do you mean, yes? It's revolutionary. And they're like, no, you've been doing it for a while. You just haven't really realized it. Okay. Friends are wise, and colleagues. They all saw it coming apart from me. So at the time, my daughter was, about 4 years old. So in the thick of it at the time, which was a wonderful place to start from. And I found that my work, again, completely accidentally, seems to focus primarily on mums. It's not that I haven't worked with dads, but I find that mums are the ones who reach out. The mums are the ones who are at the end of their tether and just say, this is just not working out for me. What can I do? Where can I look to improve my experience of this parenting malarkey? And for me personally, being a Brit, clearly not Swiss, in Switzerland, it has tended to be, I've again accidentally specialized within the expat field, because within parenting, the expat experience is slightly different, because we're naturally not surrounded by our friends from school, our wider friendship and support circle that know us, know our crazy, we can go to with the glass of wine, and we're not surrounded by family. So we don't have the traditional support mechanisms. So when a mom is at the end of her tether here, her mom isn't around to hand the baby to. It's just us. And that can be a lot more challenging.
Mm.
So that's how I've accidentally specialized in my work.
That's lovely, isn't it? Because in a way, as you say, you were doing it, and doing it's probably so naturally, and it was then when you kind of woke up to the fact, oh yeah, I have been doing that. Did you find that then you kind of did it more consciously? I suppose with the subject today being the subject being perfect, sometimes when we know what we're doing, we then kind of set standards or expectations for ourselves. And did you experience any then, oh yeah, I've been doing it, oh, am I doing it well enough, am I doing it? There's those sort of questions.
Absolutely. And then you do the classic, absolutely classic, that is so often done, comparing.
Oh yes.
Yes. Yeah. And so you think you put it down as research. No, you're comparing. And so you start looking at other people in the field who are doing amazing work, and you just go,
oh, they've written a book, oh, they've done that,
and they're doing, and they've got this, and they're doing this, and then am I doing it right? Or and especially people, this is an insider thing within the coaching industry that you guys will very much know is, ooh, should I get some more training? Should I buy another book or get some more training? But that totally maps across to parenting. I mean, how many of us have got this wish list on Amazon of the latest parenting book, of the latest this and that and the other, where we look to that and we think, that will answer my questions, that will be the solution to this problem or that problem, is I just need another person's opinion or another person's system. And it's a lot more obvious. This is a lot more obvious within the baby field. When everybody, you're released into the wild with this creature in your arms, and they go, off you go home, and you go, there's no manual, there's nothing. What do I do with this thing? And so that's when all the books start, and everybody's advice starts about how to be the perfect parent, or how to raise the perfect child. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. And then all these books start flooding into the house. So we're all fantastic, highly educated women. We've been taught that, one goes to books and experts for advice so that we can do it properly and well. But then you find every book has a completely different opinion. And you start doubting yourself. You stop listening to your own internal voice about what suits you and your child. You start to look externally all the time. And there's so many different opinions. And what I mean by clarity in the baby age group is that you have the war between the attachment parenting and then the cry it out brigade. And then you've got the when to wean, when not to wean, what to give, what not to give. And everybody's very sure that they're right in their camp. And then start fighting randomly with other people who, breastfeeding, not breastfeeding, bottle or breast.
Yeah, Tammy,
go on, Carolina.
Yes, I'm curious, Tammy, and also about you, Kate. When you brought up the babies topic, because I almost forgotten how it is to have a small baby. My daughters are now 6 and 4, but now when you started talking about breast and bottle attachment and cry it out, all the memories came back. Yes, and I'm really curious, how was it for you? If you felt the internal pressure, or maybe pressure from someone in your life to do it right, the right way, to be perfect, and how it felt for you.
To do it the right way.
Yeah, for me, so I've got 3 boys. They're sort of 11. In fact, the eldest is 11 this weekend. 11, 9 and 4. And I can very clearly remember with the eldest that I did receive a lot of different input, and particularly from midwives. I remember, this is how you do breastfeeding. This is, no, you're not doing it right. And can you show me how you do it? And I've said, well, I've just shown someone else. And you're kind of feeling all mixed up. But I think because I feel I'm not someone, I haven't felt that pressure because possibly I've been on this inside out journey, if you like, for it feels like a long time. I did listen to my intuition going, I know what's right. I know what's right. I know what feels right for me. And to take what I can hear from others, but to make it my own. And I found, like little acronyms. There was a book, The Baby Whisperer. And in there, the stop, look, observe, way forward, or, I think it was along those lines where you just slow down. And if you slow down back, which is a lot to do with being able to then get that clarity and see that you do have the answer, and then you're able to be able to deal with it in your own way, and that way feels right. Then you don't do but Muggins next door, she's doing it in some other way, and I'm not. You don't go down that comparing route. I did less of the comparison. I think when we went into kind of buggy mode and I was walking around with NCT friends, and then they said, well, how many layers of clothing do you have on yours? And you're going, well, I've got this many. And then they kept saying, well, I've only got this many. You begin to doubt, you kind of doubt yourself. But I think for me, I wasn't aiming for this perfection. And I did do a lot of tuning in. I think just being able to, I read one book. I liked it. I listened to people. I talked to people. I talked to my sister, and then just made the decisions from that intuitive place, which at the time, and then I didn't know about the 3 principles as such, but I did certainly. I worked from and was coming from a very intuitive place, so I didn't struggle. But I certainly work in the work that I do with maternity transition. I'm totally, with you, Tammy, with those. I don't see the women with their babies because I work with them pre-leave, before they go on their leave, right. And then once they've had their baby. But there is sometimes a struggle with the not knowing, and that knowing almost turning into, I'd like that to be as perfect as possible, I want to be the perfect mum, and what does that look like? And a lot of looking out. So looking outside for the answer.
For the answers.
Looking outside them for the answer. Yeah. Which I think is so. Yeah, it's so ingrained in human nature. I think to be able to, society just provides all these things, and there's another thing. There's another thing that leads on. What about you, Tammy?
Well, my personal experience was I had a very strange time actually raising my daughter, because it was followed. I'd experienced the death of my son only about 18 months, 2 years before. So raising her, there were some medical things I had to adhere to make sure that she was okay. And actually, it was part of my journey into the principles, because I was incredibly anxious during that period of time. She was, for a year, she was attached to an alarm system for breathing to make sure that she continued to breathe as she should. And so that I could sleep, because an alarm would go off if she did stop breathing. So, but for me during that time, I'm quite an intuitive person anyway. And yes, Tracy, was it Tracy Hogg?
Tracy Hogg, yes. That's it. That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah,
I have to admit that was wonderful, because again, it spoke to me that trust yourself. That was really, I think, the message of the book, was to trust yourself, which is so unusual, because most of the books are so dictatorial about their opinion about how it should be, and then it'll be everything will be okay if you sign up to their system. And I saw a lot of friends around me struggle, and part of my job currently is to help women find their voice again, to trust themselves, to not be looking out here, but to be able to, as you said, slow down, to give themselves time for that to emerge for them. And it's that very special combination between baby and mother, baby and father. It is a unique combination that books just can't really touch. They really can't touch it. And I find a lot of us as well, especially within our age groups, we're parenting differently than our parents parented. Quite a lot of us are looking at what our parents did and said, yeah, not that. I'm going to do it a different way. But then we're not quite clear what that different way is. And then we've got our parents going, oh, I would do that. And they're spoiling them and blah, 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 you know, which is adding to the confusion. So a lot of people are clear that they want to do it differently. They want to do it better. They sometimes are very clear about what they don't want to do, but then are unclear about what they do want to do. So they're very busy running from a form of parenting that they did not particularly enjoy. But they're not clear about where they're running to. They're so busy running away from that they're not really listening to themselves. They're just desperately trying to find information externally to themselves, so that they can be this image of perfection. And we're talking about perfection. I think we're at a very interesting time when somehow there is this thought out there that a lot of us have adopted about this idea of a perfect parent, a perfect mum. And more depressingly, if you don't do this, you shall screw up your kids for life. You know?
Yeah.
I was at this festival and I was in a yurt. I did do festivals when I was a bit younger. And I was in a yurt with my daughter and she was in a sunbeam. There was a beam of light coming into the yurt. So we had some kind of workshop. I can't even remember what it was. So she was in this beam of sunlight. And we went outside and this lady came up to me and said, you must keep your child out of the sun because only 2 big exposures to sun and, I don't know, her brain will melt, her skin will fall off. I can't remember exactly what it was. Did you know, horror and terror shall, you know, chase you forevermore. And I was like, lovely. Thank you so much. Yes. But it's just indicative of the type of, there's an extreme example, but it's indicative of the type of thing that we're told, you know, again, going back to, there's a classic with the whole breastfeeding bottle debate. You know, give them the bottle and you shall somehow be scarring them for life. Or breastfeed them too long, somehow you will be scarring them for life. You are not being a good parent by doing that. Attachment parenting, cry it out. You know, the people who are attachment parenting will say the cried out are going to scar the child for life. No, and then science wades in with you know, scientific studies show but both sides have got different statistics, and so we're just left in this complete muddle. Whereas but it's also somehow believing that the perfect parent is possible. And perfect by whose standards? Perfect for what? What even is a perfect parent?
Because we were talking, Carolina, about that perfect parent being, so you've got that person is a parent and they may then go back, let's say they go to work and then they have a husband and they have extended family. It's, you know, it's how far does perfect need to be and need to touch? So when those women, you know, who are going back to work or maybe thinking about starting their own business or doing something different, to carry that lens of perfection, to see that everything in their life has to be in that way or just so, puts huge amounts of pressure on the individual that if only, and right, you say that perfection means different things for different people, but it is still that word perfect in sense of, in my world, that means everything has to be done in a certain way, and I have to be able to be, and sometimes with women who I'm working with who are returning to work, it's, I want to be able to see my child as much as I want to be a great employee. And there's, so it's just, whoa, let's just actually begin to look at you, what you really want, and what's important to you. So it's falling over that perfection hurdle, and I've seen it within cases where the hurdle is so high that it just is an inhibitor, and it sets it sets them up for failure in a way, because it's not there's no that sense of happiness within, and I'm okay as I am, and I'm doing the best I can given my level of understanding now, and I think that's different to wanting to do your best. That's different to being I just have to be the perfect, whatever this perfect. And I suppose media and books and that kind of thing don't help, in the sense of, as you say at the beginning, do this and then you will have perfect children. It's putting more pressure. What if it doesn't happen? Oh, I've done something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I failed. Yeah. It's my fault. Yeah.
I'd like to jump in here, because I really love the distinction, Kay, that you made about trying to be perfect and trying to just do your best, because the first one for me is like that you are living in your head. You have this standard or expectations or different values that very often can be in conflict with each other, Like, for instance, even not long ago, I was throwing a small birthday party for my girls, and I was trying to clean the house very well, maybe not perfectly, but I wanted the food to be really nice and beautiful and tasty and somehow special, and I want some games for the kids. So, but also I wanted to be spending time with my kids, to be nice to them. But I couldn't do both, because I was getting anxious about the preparations, so I was barking at my children, and I was feeling guilty, that I'm like this. So I started to play with the kids maybe for a while, but then I started to get anxious, but the house is not clean enough. So for me, like, trying to be perfect is like living in the head, just listening to the totally made up expectations and ideas, what's right, what's wrong, and trying to do your best. It's more like being present and more, not so much caught up in your thinking, but more responsive to what is happening. And then you are doing your best, because we all know that the higher pressure and the higher self-judgment, the more we are hindering actually our access to our best and to our wisdom and to our intuition and connection and love. And the more gentle we are and relaxed we are, then the more we can do the best. So I'm seeing even more clearly how paradoxal it is that when we are trying to be perfect, actually we are putting more and more barriers to our innate wisdom that actually guides us to do our best in the moment.
I'd even challenge doing our best.
Say more.
Because I think so many women believe they can do better. Do my best is, I think, another trap into perfectionism, because then it's beating yourself up. I didn't do my best. I didn't do my best. No, not truly acknowledging again what you are actually physically capable of. We try to, that the Indian goddess with the many hands. Charlie, name escapes me, but it is wanting all the hands. It's wanting to be, split yourself into many parts and, be able to clean. I had a guest over. It was spontaneous. She came. It was wonderful. I had to make the decision, clean the toilet while she wasn't looking, or raise the blinds, which one, and I can't be in two places at once. And it was just a case of that. Well, I am telling myself a story that I, as a mother running the household, or just having this apartment, means that this apartment should be clean. I'm telling myself a story. I'm also telling myself a story. She won't like me if it's not clean. She's going to think this, that, and the other about me. So, I have to really quickly tidy up somehow while the kettle's boiling or something. But it's just a whole bunch of stories I'm telling myself about this situation, and really messing myself up with that, because obviously the emotions come straight thundering in when I start to think that way. And none of it is actually relevant, because it's all a complete story that I'm telling myself. And a lot of it is a story about, because you're saying about the party and wanting to clean. You're wanting to clean quite often because you're scared about what other people will think. Yeah. Which is a story about, my place in your social group, your place within the what other mums think of you, or what you think other mums think of you, what you think of yourself. And if you look around and go, this isn't my best, it can be another, it's another story you're telling yourself. It's another form of perfectionism.
Yeah, I get it. That it can become another concept, doing the best. Yes.
It can be another concept. It can be another story that you a trap that you fall into about doing your best. And there are sometimes, let's face it, we're not our best. We can't give our best. We're in a bad mood. We're incredibly tired as parents, or we're just so overstretched. Like this afternoon, I'm somehow actually, after this, I'm kind of working out how I'm kind of need to be in 3 places at the same time. And I'm just like, well, that's obviously rubbish. But my brain is telling me I need to be in 3 places today. This is what I need to be doing. I've just got to ride with what I have, moment by moment by moment by moment, and not thread those moments together with a story in my head, and then relate it to my value as a human being, which then becomes, am I doing my best or not? Where does my self-worth come from in this moment? Does it come from the external or not? It doesn't, but we will link it to that. So it's just following the moment by moment by moment. Not creating a story about it, or I should have arranged this differently, or I should have seen this coming. I should have seen it coming. I didn't. The truth is I didn't. So here I am. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that for me actually doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, any of this. And doing the cleaning, and as you say, we can get trapped in those stories about how we think it's going to matter, but actually it doesn't matter. People aren't, it just doesn't matter, whatever that story is. Pop it, send it to go away. And I think, like you were just saying, you've got 3 things this afternoon. Well, I had too many things this morning, but I knew where I needed to be. So I got to where I needed to be, which was to watch my son play in this hockey tournament. And I'd emailed just before I left, because I knew I needed to be there, the chap that I was supposed to be calling at 11, and just said, is it okay if we rearrange? I'm really sorry, but I really would like to watch my son. Absolutely fine. We're rearranging. And it's, but moment by moment, I didn't do that until it just felt, I knew. But I only knew, it wasn't my head saying me, it was the universe, it was the energy of life just going, I know where I need to be and spend my time, not getting into my head and working it out, going, oh God, I've got this and I've got that, and if I'm not doing all of them, then I'm going to let myself down. There was, there's none of that. But I think that does go on a lot when people have a lot on their plate. not being able to step back or whatever works for that individual and just let the answer will arise. The answer is there.
Yeah.
And I think when I was saying do your best, I was coming from a different place in the sense of it's kind of with, it's a knowing, it's a feeling. And I can see where the story of being the best was, I don't use that myself, but if it, you could then have levels of I'm not best, I'm not as good as my best, and I need to be better. Absolutely. And that's that. I think the key there, if there's a message that that we're giving, and that you said in the storytelling, and seeing it as that story, and being able to understand that story is made of thought, and the thought creates the feeling from the inside out, is just transforms parenting, transforms one's individual perspective on life and on busy lives and on challenges. So do you see, I'm interested in just moving this to, if the perfect parent wants to have their perfect baby, their perfect parent, their perfect children, have you seen that come up? Boop.
Yeah. Or somehow, I know, it can be a mix. It's just like my child is doing this, what have I done wrong? Does that, or what mistakes did we make? So there's the behavior equaling the parent, not parents' concept of their own personal self-worth. There can be that, and and there can be, my child should be doing this and they're not, therefore I am deeply unhappy, which is a very, very easy trap to fall into. It doesn't often look, I put it in very, very simplistic terms there. It dresses itself up as so many other things, like my child is not doing as well at school as I would hope. Therefore, what did I do wrong? What mistakes have I made? All different things. Again, sort of looking. It's the old story of looking to the exterior, and then making that something about us personally, about our story that we tell about ourselves, and it's also. And the classic story is the should story. They should be doing this, or they shouldn't be doing that. And that internal fight with reality. I always say parents are always fighting against reality. One of the first things to do is get with reality, get with what is actually happening, not what you would like to happen, what you think you should be seeing. They should be able to sit in a restaurant at 2 years old quietly. That's nice. How's that working out for you? You get really stressed about it, like, oh, I'm not the right type of parents. What have I done? What other children can do this? Blah, 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 blah. They should be. I'm like, well, they're not.
Yeah. And what you're saying, I feel really frustrated, and it's them. That's what they're not doing what they should be doing, and I'm feeling really and seeing the feeling that they're experiencing coming from the child.
Yes.
Behavior.
They're doing it to me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a cracker if that can be cracked. If that can be a wake up to, it's not what the child is doing or not doing that you think they should be doing that is creating your frustration.
Yeah, absolutely. That it's your story of the should. And your internal fight with what you would like it to look like and what it is like. It's creating your sense of extreme frustration, anger, or any other. There's many emotions actually that can be attached to that get triggered. It's completely individual. But it's the same about fighting with reality. If you just see what is before you, it's like, okay, my child can't sit still in a restaurant at 2 and wants to get down and will start shouting. Okay. So either then, you are able to sit there and observe the chaos that is sitting next to you, or you don't go to restaurants. I should be able to go to restaurants. That's not what's happening. If you keep fighting that all the time, your internal sense of peace it's going to be non-existent, because you're believing it's coming from outside of yourself. You're believing the stories you're telling yourself about reality that are simply stories.
Yeah, something comes to mind that I love, by the way, how you speak about just getting real and accepting the reality rather than fighting what is and saying that it should be different. And what I've noticed in myself, but also in my clients, that when the fight ends, when the mind quiets down and we just accept, yes, this is happening, the relaxation happens. And then very often it can change the energy and the vibe. And then, I'm not saying that always, but very often the child is suddenly less anxious and the child is suddenly calmer. Because the fight is over. Not because, I did something, I pressed it, but because the energy changed. I think that with relaxation, really a lot of wisdom comes. And when the judgment, when the fight stops, the relaxation comes and the innate wisdom can guide us much better. Can you relate?
Yeah. I can. And my clients have found that when they see reality, when they see the beautiful child in front of them, that is who they are. Is what it is. When they see that, then, as you said, it clears up all this mental fighting that the parent has. Their vibe changes, their child's vibe changes, but more importantly, they can suddenly see a way forward. They can suddenly see, once all that fighting is finished, they are able to tap into their wisdom, as you said, and quite often there's a solution. Solution may be just to stop the internal fight, but the solution also might be, I remember that thing that he really liked, and I've got one out in the car. My husband can just look after him for just 5 minutes. I'll go get the thing in the car, I'll bring it in here. He may well be quiet when he's got the thing. Okay. Rather than being totally in the head about the situation. And it also reminds me of something else, and I think this is at the core, is that looking for personal perfection gets in the way of us realizing that we're not in charge here. I'm kind of like really kind of exploding this and kind of opening it up. But all this kind of like perfection, doing the best, taking control, is of this story that we are in control. When really we're not. We're I'm gonna go a bit out here now, but life is being a channel for the universe's energies to come through us and for us to manifest that in the world. But most of us are such completely blocked channels of all this internal fighting that we do with ourselves in reality, that we can't move fully and be fully in the world and relinquish control. And you were saying earlier about it was beautiful about how you kind of feel the flow of life, and then you said that with your son this morning, and what you would do, would you be with your client or go and see your son's sports match, that you started to be able to feel the way that life was flowing, to feel it and follow. And I know what it's like. For me, it's more like a drum beat. Where's that drum beat?
That feeling.
Yeah. Where is that? Where is that? Is that us being in control? Is that us being perfect? Is that anything to do with any of that?
Yeah.
And it's not. And it's if you let all of that go, then you can
it's beautiful.
Feel it. and feel where life is taking you. Feel the flow, feel your place in it and where you flow, rather than trying to dictate and stamp over it this kind of like blueprint of this is how it should be, and this is how I should be, and this is how I should be in the world, and I've decided I'm a strong and powerful woman. Yeah, good, hooray, fantastic. Yeah, I'm with that too. But it's not. It's not. It's fighting all the time, and life gets stagnated. Life gets because you can't flow with it. You can't.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful what you've just said. And it may be you've gone deeper and more expansive, which is wonderful, because there'll be people that connect with it and people that don't. But I think that for me, is as soon as you can realize that you're not in control. And I've had various realizations along the line. I still get, slapped in the face. I sort of trip up on it. But it's not about me. It's not about the me's, the us. There's a universe out there, universal life force energy, which is the one where I call it the magic, those magic moments. Is it you that's doing those magic moments when you're in the shower or taking a walk or whatever it is, or just sitting at your desk? You have magic? No, it's not. It's nothing to do with you. So that feeling comes from, I call it like a mini magic moment, was I know where I need to be because I've got that feeling. I just knew. It's not coming from me. It is, I'm not in control of that, where that answer came from. That solution appeared, because that's how we're spiritual beings. Having a human experience, that's kind of like just amazing. And I think, wow, to be, that's so different a life experience than living in your head of perfection. Wow, it's just, it's just so poles apart. What would you say? I think we're sort of getting towards the end of time, aren't we, Carolina?
Yes, we are.
Say, not that I think there's some lovely messages. Maybe if just to recap on one thing or two things that are really special in your heart and mind about today's chat. Or maybe you said it all. I'll leave you a second.
I think to be aware of all the stories that we tell ourselves about. I am this type of mum, I am this, I'm blah, 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 blah. And other people, I am this, that it's all just simply stories. It is, sorry guys, it's all made up. It's all made up. But if we grab onto one of it and go, this is the truth, and we grab onto that and this is the truth, and then we try to make that, again, like that blueprint, trying to overlay life, the reality of life, with this theory, this story about how it should be and how we should be in the world and how we should be this perfect, whatever your version of perfect is. But we're just stamping it onto the world and trying to follow this blueprint. It's like, throw it away. Sorry, throw it away. Just bin it. It's just, and get out of your own way. Get out of your own way to experience your children as they really are, not who you want them to be. Just really experience how it is, and follow that.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what stands out for me is, when you both spoke about the living energy, the insight and the love, the seeing the child as they are, what occurs to me is how perfect it is. And how perfect it is when we allow this to come through and guide us, and how beautiful it is. And then our own standards of perfection seem to be so small, that it's not really worth to be bothered and stress ourselves about them. Yeah. We can relax into the perfection of life, I think. And what I wonder, what is it for you, Kate, that stands out from today?
Oh, everything. They're just, I think they're not everything, but I think um, the feeling says it all. The feeling says it all. And I think what came into my mind as we were talking, I was going, I love sort of case in point. What we were doing today is it perfection? Is it not? Doesn't really matter. The fact that we've come together and I feel, we've connected actually more so as we've gone on from the heart and expressed and shared what it means to us. But hopefully what it means to us is actually the truth for everyone. It's not just the three of us talking to each other. This is universal for men, women, children. So it's wonderful to have talked about it, really. And I think there's flow in that, and there's the energy of life. Yeah. But thank you, Tammy. That's wonderful to have you here today. And I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, very much.
As much as we have.
Thank you for inviting me. Much fun.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tammy. Okay, I stop the recording now.